And now I can kind of spin it around and see where I've got some empty spots and add some more in there. But it's filling out pretty nicely, getting that nice bling to it. All right, so now it's time to do the bottom part. We're gonna do the same thing. And because we left this area clear, we know we're not gonna have any sugar sticking to that. All right, so going almost all the way around. I'm getting a little sticking to my hand, so I'm gonna wash my hand off, wipe my hand off, so I don't have any sticking to there. Now, I've used up my whole tin, so instead of opening another one, I'm gonna shake this down a little bit, and I'm gonna take all my extra here, and let me do it this way. This is the easiest way to do it. I'm gonna take my tin, and I don't wanna waste this, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it back into my container, and we can still use this, so we can finish off the bottom and don't have to waste any of this sugar. And that's why you put it in the cookie sheet, because you want to make sure that you're catching it all. If you were to do this on your counter, you'd have sugar everywhere. All right, so let's put it back in here so we catch the rest. And see, we almost filled it all the way back, halfway back up again. So let's do this again, all the way around on the bottom. There we go. Slide that back. Fill it all in. And then you can go through after you've done it all the way around and see if there's any spots where you feel like it didn't catch. But looks like we did a pretty good job. I did. You guys had nothing to do with it, but your support that I feel over the air helps. All right. So there we go. It looks like we're pretty good. So now we will add our bling to it, and that tier will be almost done. All right, normally what you want to do is you want to let this tier that you've added your sanding sugar to, you want to let it dry for a while. I would say at least a couple of hours, because what's going to happen is the sugar is going to melt a little bit into the gel, and the gel is going to harden a little bit, and it won't be soft and squishy and be able to be pushed and moved around. So once you've done that, it's time to add your bling. So we're going to add our bling with royal icing. We're just going to take a little bit, and I'm going to put a strip down one side right here, pretty good size strip. This is going to be the back of my cake, and I'm going to just spread it out a little bit so it doesn't drip, and it's got a little bit of a thin layer. And I'm going to take my one side of my bling, and I'm going to attach it onto that strip. Now I know it's not going to hold, so again I'm going to take my black push pins, hat pins, and I'm going to attach it. Now this is going to hold it in place while my royal dries. Now as I go around, I'm just going to very lightly put a little bit in different places around. You don't need a ton, but you do want anchor points all the way around the circle, because if you just try to do the front and the back, then it's going to sag in the middle. So we're going to add a couple of anchor points as we go around. I would do it probably 8 or so all the way around, like maybe every 2 to 3 inches. And put your push pin. Now you don't want to necessarily put your pin through the royal, because you don't want it to, as you pull it out, you don't want it to break that seal where the bling is touching the royal. So if you put the royal strip here, just put the pins next to it, just so it's pressing up against it, and that way you won't break the seal when you pull the pin out, but you're holding it in place. All right, so I'm gonna add some more pins to keep it in place. Again, I'm using the black pins, and I leave them sticking really far out. If I were to push it all the way into the cake, I may miss that, and I don't want to miss any of these. So I always leave them sticking really far out so that there's no chance I'm going to miss a pin. Now you could use toothpicks too. I know people use toothpicks, that's fine. They leave bigger holes, which is why I like to use pins. And they're just as bad to leave in. So some people say, oh, I'm going to use a toothpick, but I like the pins better.